Last week, Dean showed us some progress on the secrets management. We got to give Gabor some feedback on the audit trail. And I think that's what we talked about. Today, I shouldn't, because Zoltan is here, and even if he was not here, we will talk about GitHub Discussions.
Yes, exactly. And I would also have a tiny demo.
And demo from Zoltan. Tiny. Then topics. Anything else? Demos? Dean is not here. We don't have any demo. So sad. Okay, let's see how it goes with that. Status. Orchard 1. I remember it was quick, and there is nothing new on Orchard 1. There is that. No, that's old. July. Okay, that's old. Nothing new on Orchard 1. OrchardCore. Last week was the 4th. Here. So that packages and the agency theme. Startup. Okay, make OrchardCore.Cms.Web the startup project by default. I didn't realize it was not the case. So, okay, now it is interesting. Interesting. Added material icon themes. Material icon themes. What is that? What is this syntax? What is that? Family equals and a pipe in the URL. So they have a custom format. Material icons, outline, two-tone. What file is that? Layout for the admin. Antoine, what is that? Do you know?
No, he copy-pasted a screenshot to explain what kind of icon he wanted to add. So he just modified the font.
Okay. 6832. Nope. That's what I had in my 32. Okay, so support following material icons. So in the admin layout, we have fonts, Google API, family, material icons. I assume this is that list. I don't even know where pointing to that, if even using it. Material icons. So that means that okay, that means that material icons, if I look for something like this, we should see where it's used. I don't see it used. So it's just commits issues. I will just put a comment on the issue. Because if we don't use it by default, if it's your custom modules that need it, then they should just require that to be a resource. I don't remember we use these icons anywhere in the default modules. Revert or deletion message was a PR we gave, I think, some feedback, or was it merged before we give the feedback? Yeah, we gave some feedback. I don't remember at what point, but yeah, the idea is that yeah, because this message will always be displayed, I think. So if they don't display a message. Return search results in the correct order. So the to list, probably to keep the order that was passed. New contributor, link about password options on .NET documentation. Yes, so there was a question, I think an issue, and then maybe Antoine copy pasted the way to configure it, or maybe it was Jean-Thierry, I don't remember. We talked about it during triage, and the idea is that there is official documentation about configuring the password requirement options. It's ASP.NET implementation, we don't do anything else. So at least we said we should point somewhere to the official ASP.NET documentation. That's good. Fix incorrectly closed li. Easy. Oh yeah. Okay. Add support for attributes. Well, if I look at that, it's a UL li. It's interesting. So the Razor compilation didn't find the issue. Okay. Add support for attributes, class, and alt in ImageShortCode.Provider. Yeah, so there was a request. So users could pass custom classes in the shortcode. And at the same time, this user made alt text. New contributor, fixes update content activities. 1 second. Thank you. Fixes update content activities. Once back again. Update content activities. What was I saying? I think, oh, that's a big PR from Jean-Thierry that was fixing many issues with content activities. Either they are used inline or not inline, meaning when a workflow is triggered while you are publishing, for instance, a content item, which is called inline, or where when there is an event, and it's not you that triggers the event from your browsing, and this is called not inline. And there are different ways to do things in this case. So it's fixing these events plus typos. Okay, lots of typos and change in namespaces. Very old PR, now merged. Don't detach document already loaded for update. So we merged this one also during triage. So this is about how content item, well, documents are loaded from cache stores. So when you cache, you can, well, if you use the ASP.NET caching abstractions, you can store in the iMemory cache or iDistributed cache. Main difference being that in iDistributed cache, you put stuff that has to be and can be serialized. And in memory cache, you can put stuff that is not serialized. And it's a live object that can be changed and updated. So there is a new caching service for documents. Let's see where it's used. Do we have an example here? You see session helper get for caching async. So when you do that, you say that the object that you want to load from database will be cached, which means you should not change it. Okay, you should not be able to update it. You should not update it. It's for caching. So this branch changes some ways it's used such that you can, when you get a document from a database from this layer, it will tell you if you are allowed to change it or not. So this way, you know if you can put it in a durable cache or a live cache. Return the already loaded document, but indicating that it should not be cached. See here. So this is the, can it be cached? Nope, because it's not detached. So you can't change, you can't update it because maybe something else will also load the same document and it will be a changed document. Scoped distributed cache. And I think I put a comment on the PR such that this factory here is documented because it might not be obvious what it does. It's just to create a new document if there is nothing in the database. So that's a new PR from Jean-Thierry. Users with managed users permission can delete themselves or change their roles. I think we merged it, but so the idea of that is, I think we asked for a change and I assume it did. Oh no, we changed it directly in the maybe here. So the idea is that if you try to delete the admin account and you're currently the admin, what you could do is actually block everyone from being able to edit the site, okay, if the admin is the only user. So the idea here is that you can't delete yourself. So you have to ask someone else to be able to do it yourself. This way, you are sure to not block everyone. And it's done just by doing that in the UI. If you really want to call it using a post request, well, there won't be any blocker for that. Updated alternate order for field names. Ariane suggested that the order for alternates was wrong, and it's correct. So we changed that. The idea is that if you define the content type or name field name alternate, it should take precedence over the content type field type. Okay, so that's fixed. Should not break anyone, or you have something wrong. This one, fixing the path is incorrect, will not work with base path. So now it's working correctly. SvgPath, because it's on the client side generated for generated like this, it has to be URL content. Create Azure Active Directory how to guide. Michael made a new user guide, and we asked him if he could update the images, which he did. So now there is a guide to configure that. Azure Active Directory. It's not in this list. Where is it? Ready. Guide. So when you search, you don't see the menu. Implement full text search. Where is that? Guide. It's in guides. I don't find it. Oh, it's there, but it's not in the menu here, right?
Yeah, you have to add it to some kind of definition file.
Let me see. So I know someone will fix it. Okay. Implement full text search. Plugins. It's not even in the same order. Result pages. That is not there either. Oh yes, that is here, but not with the same title. Okay. Fix typo on middleware. Somewhere a typo has been fixed. Middleware. Okay. Contributor. SvgPath again. Interesting. Search doc template names. Okay. Prevent duplicate instances of IShapeAttributeProvider scope services. Interesting. How does it work? What's the difference? Maybe if we do that twice. Not even sure. Interesting. Usually we do that here at scope T and that, such that if you resolve T or if you resolve that, you get the same instance here. And when I say instance, I mean the actual same instance. So if you resolve the T directly or that, you get the same instance. So maybe this is wrong pattern and maybe this works, probably. There might be other places where we do that. So we should check. Fix is manifest circular dependency. So many files. Okay, so this is cleaning. Oh, let's see. Okay, removing unnecessary requirements. So probably we had a circular dependency between components that is fixed now, related to shortcodes, display management. Okay, updated mkdocs to 555 and fix user deletion. Action delete. Forgot the action delete. And because we never delete any users, we didn't see that. What was it doing? Remove URL, delete. I assume it was not going to the correct action. Okay. Probably doing the edit only. Good. Questions? More people. Okay. So topics or demo? Demo and topics after, because demos usually have fixed time. Topics can go indefinitely. Demo from Zoltan. You can share when you are ready.
All right, let me just do that. So this will be a really tiny demo. Probably the introduction is more than the demo itself. So all those people here who have worked with Orchard 1 know, and I presume also love, the shape tracing feature. So I saw that we should really have a shape tracing feature in Orchard Core, but I didn't really do that. But what I have done is just a really simple feature that we can think further and possibly just add to Orchard as a quick fix and then later elaborate on it. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Not?
Yes, we can.
You can. All right. So this is a small feature in the helpful extensions module of ours called shape tracing, but really the name is a bit of an exaggeration. And once you enable it, you will get basically what you already see in the title. It breaks the title a bit in this particular theme, in the block theme. But what you get is basically a dump about shapes in the HTML output. So if you want to look at where this is coming from, for example, which shape is behind this particular piece of markup, then, well, you can just open the source and, well, you can check it out. You see there are these comments included. These are generated when a shape is displayed that give you some basic debug data. So you can use these to actually, for example, override the shape. Yeah, so the layout, of course, comes from the block theme.
Do you want to tell him or should I?
What?
Do you want to tell him or should I?
Tell what? We talked about it recently. I'm not sure I want to say the same thing. Say what you want to say.
You implemented a feature that dumps any object into the JavaScript console.
Oh, so this is not the same thing I want to say. So yes, we have a feature.
Yeah,
but it's not the same. It's opt-in.
Yeah,
so
and actually, I first wanted to use that, but with the amount of shapes, even on a simple layout, it will cause an out-of-memory exception in .NET. I tried to dig into it, and I couldn't find why, because I don't think the amount of data actually warrants it. So hence why it just dumps this thing there.
Okay, so that was the yeah, that's really interesting to see how you got the exception. We need to fix it. The thing we talked about recently, however, maybe during a triage, is because when we saw what Dean had done for the debugger for the cache, the debug mode for the cache, he was also injecting some kind of format, I think, comments. There was a thing that I didn't know that you could do, and so I'd like to remember what it is, and maybe you will tell us next time. But then what we talked about is when I saw this syntax that was using in the output, we say maybe we should just have the shape tracing be, well, just, it would be nice to have a tab on the right here. You see the add guard that you have on the right pane. It would be nice to have a custom tab here, like the same thing as Vue.js also. So we could render stuff that will actually be integrated in the Chrome developer tab. And that also works for the Edge developer tab. And that will show the tree or the list of all the shapes and as a tree with the properties if we need or whatever we want as a metadata. So that's good to be able to display it as a comment, but I think it should not be hard to go a step further and parse some formatted metadata like render in a tab in the Chrome debugger with an extension to display the tree of shapes and maybe have all the features later that we had in Orchard 1 when you hover every element in the tree with some custom metadata for like what is the div element, the DOM element, and so we can hover every node in the tree and it will show us where it is in the page. So that would be a better integration. So this is nice. This is the first step to be able to render data about the shapes. Is it clear what I said? Like, can you open? I don't know what is AdGuard, but
yeah, this is
something.
Yeah, an ad blocker. I think you need a Chrome extension for this.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Chrome extension will then parse the comments that you are generating if they were formatted in a way like JSON. If they contain like JSON snippets, they could just, oh, I found a JSON snippet. Let's write it as a tree here in this view. So from this view, you can see all the shapes that has been rendered, even without having to browse the HTML directly.
Yeah, my issue with that would be that it ties this thing to Chrome and Chromium browsers.
Yeah. So okay, raise your hand if you don't use Edge or Chrome in this room, or if you are a web dev that cares about shape tracing, and you, fuck you, Bertrand. What are you, Internet Explorer or what?
No, it's true. I'm on Firefox.
Somebody with Firefox here?
I use Firefox too.
Okay, so if you want to be able to use shape tracing, then you will open the Chrome or Edge, whatever Chromium browser. And but yeah, that would be a nice improvement. I think it's good to have the data in the HTML, but I think that would be a nice improvement to have it as a Chrome tab and having it as a shape tracer like in Orchard 1. Too much work. Inject the HTML, have a custom editor. I don't think it's worth it. So.
Yeah, well, of course, this is just a tiny first step, and what I really liked on the console logging, the console log method, that it would pretty much dump all of this data and more right into the console window here, so you could also browse it as you said, without having to do anything with an extension. But I couldn't get it working. For a couple of shapes, it works. If you do it for a full layout for every shape, it will just.
Honestly, I think we didn't even try to output a shape. Maybe we just outputted like the object and content items, and that's what we did.
Yeah, it's not the content of the shape. It's pretty much a serialization of the shape object. It's not a rendering, but still somehow it gets.
That's why I said that maybe we just tried with content and content items and not a shape when we try the console log.
Well, it works for one shape and there's several shapes, but not for many.
What kind of data do you export here in the HTML?
This is pretty much hard coded for shape metadata. Do everything from shape metadata. But
do we have alternates, for instance?
Sorry?
Do we have alternates?
Yes. This is a pretty simple layout because there are huge content shapes, but somewhere we should have other shapes here. I've seen it today. Yeah, but alternates as well. Yeah, here you have for a content shape. Wrappers too. Yeah, that's it from me.
I like it and I don't like it. I don't like the fact that we have to do that, which is why I start not liking the fact that we have shapes in the front end at all. But that's for another discussion. That's for multi-days discussion.
Yeah, I had an issue during the weekend and I needed to solve it, so that's why.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, shapes were complicated.
And while you're here, then you will talk about GitHub Discussions.
Yeah, that's the more interesting thing.
You want to talk?
Yeah, sure. So I think we have talked about it. Screen sharing is back to you. I think we talked about this a couple of months ago when GitHub first unveiled this new feature called Discussions, which is pretty much a forum. It started as more as a Q&A focused thing, akin to Stack Overflow, but now it's more like pretty much a basic forum within a GitHub project page. And first it was kind of a private beta, and now it's expanded, but still kind of private beta. So I asked them previously, how can we get into it? They said that it will be ready this summer, and finally it is that ready that we could get into it. So now Discussions is enabled for the Orchard project page, and well, do you want to screen share, Sebastian, or would you need to look around a bit? Oh, you're sharing, all right.
Yeah, I was showing, but I didn't know I was not sharing.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was not red around my screen. I'm like, am I not recording? And then at the time you told me, I'm like, oh crap, sorry. So now we can see.
No, right. Yeah. So as you can see, this is a little forum. There are a couple of categories. Those categories currently are hard coded, but in the near future they will be possible to customize. And well, you can open a new discussion here. I think this will be useful, or this can be useful if we opt to use it in the long term, of course, more for supports. So pretty much what's now in Gitter, which is an unstructured mass nowadays, because Gitter is not really capable of being a good place for multiple simultaneous conversations. So what's now in Gitter would be here. And if you open one, for example, the bigger one is that, yeah, well, even this one. You can see that the basic format is that there is an opening post and then there are answers. Currently, everything is called answers, and you can mark these posts as answer, but that will be also an upcoming feature not to have these everywhere. You could actually have such support topics where there is an answer and then you mark it solved and that's it. And you can have actual discussions where it's ongoing and there is no answer. So I think this is quite useful, even if it's pretty basic format is today. It's a better alternative to Gitter. It's a better alternative to issues with the discussion label. So I would encourage everyone to check it out.
I don't agree that it's a better alternative to Gitter. I think it's a different thing than Gitter. Gitter, we used it to answer the questions, but it was not adapted for that. But it's very, very useful to chat and to say, hey, can someone help me? And like, I mean, it's live. It's more live than this format for sure, but they are not opposed. Like, I think we should still use Gitter for some things and use discussions for this. The same way we have issues and Gitter, and we said file an issue. Don't tell us the issue here. File an issue. Or maybe on Gitter we'll say, no, you have a question. Maybe you should look into discussions or file it in the discussions if you need some help. But Gitter is still good to have a chat when we need chat. I'm not sure discussions should replace Gitter.
Yeah,
but people should not expect Gitter to be the historical truth of on something. No, use discussions. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about it, and I really don't see where Gitter would fit, because people won't understand. In Gitter, you can have a single conversation at once. So if you start to have multiple at the same time, it will get very messy, and you can have small messages. So I don't see where a discussion, a proper discussion in Gitter wouldn't eventually need to be directed over to discussions.
It's informal. Gitter is informal. Discussions is more formal. Like you create. Look at that. I will never write something as big on Gitter. Every post you see here is bigger than every post on Gitter. Like I could say, sure, why not, or try that. Have you tried? Like small, chatty, and with different people at the same time. That's fine. That's Gitter. Here it's more formal, focused, and it's different matters, I think. If you don't like Gitter and you don't want to use it, don't go there. But some people, I'm sure, will prefer to chat on Gitter. Right? And that's fine. If they are alone, they will chat by themselves. If it's too noisy, then we'll tell them, go to discussions. It's less noisy, more focused. Don't use Gitter. I think we need both.
Yeah, I'm a bit afraid we'll constantly tell people to go to somewhere else.
We'll see. If we say so, maybe we'll never tell that. Then maybe we'll just tell, did you know about discussions? Why did you come on Gitter in the first place? And that's it. And if they keep coming, they keep coming. That's okay.
Well, of course, now we can play with this whole thing. Well, first of all, we can decide whether we want to keep it. That's an open question as well. Whether we want to keep Gitter, how we want to structure conversations in both of these, or whatever. So, yeah, please check it out.
Yeah, I think we won't decide anything. It will be organically decided. People will create posts and discussions, and we'll continue using Gitter, and that's fine. We'll see how it goes. And maybe we'll have to say, well, let's stop discussions because people don't know how to use it, or too much noise, I don't know. The goal really for me is like, yeah, you have a question, you can focus on this question, you can find an answer, and you can historically look for existing questions and answers. So like a knowledge base, as long as the questions and discussions are good. Can we delete a discussion? A question?
I haven't tried. I don't know.
Let's say, like, for instance, someone creates a random bad question about something else, and okay, can we? I don't find any delete. I can edit, but just a title. So we can't close one. Interesting. Oh, delete discussion. I see. That's good. We can lock, which is good. We can transfer, which we won't need, I think, or maybe we might want that. And the discussion, yep. So if it's out of topic or doesn't go anywhere and it's just confusing, we can even delete that. It's risky, but I would prefer to. I don't know what delete does. Closing might be more interesting, and then it's hidden, but we can still find them. But I don't know what delete does. I don't want to click on that.
I would use delete only if it's abusive or illegal or something extraordinary like that.
If it's completely out of topic, like a question about, I don't know, C#.
Yeah, I think locking is probably more appropriate. By the way, there is a two-way integration with issues, so it's possible to convert an issue into a discussion. And while it's not possible to convert a discussion into an issue, but you can create an issue from a discussion.
Yeah. How do you convert an issue from discussion?
So you can create an issue from a discussion. Click the three dots at one of the messages, and there should be some, referencing new issue.
Oh, reference. Okay. I see. Oh, I see. You create a new issue, but it points to this.
So I guess the idea here was that the discussion is much more than an issue, so you can't really convert between the two. But you can convert in the other direction. So an issue you can directly convert into a discussion. So it's also possible to take all the issues with the discussion label and the question label and convert it into corresponding discussions.
So if I say that, for instance, we have many questions on the issues right now because people don't know where to go. And
on the right-hand side, you will see at the bottom, at the right bar, let's convert to discussion.
A question about localization. So maybe this title should be first changed to the actual. So if someone wants to do convert to discussion, please don't convert to discussion a question that is a question about localization. Change the title first. So it's actually the question, a short one, and then transfer it to discussion. Otherwise, we'll have questions about, I have a question. And then when you go in discussions, you're like, question. So I think the titles here should be explicit. And it's not just about questions. It's also about discussions for a specific topic, like should we get rid of shapes on the front end? And then Zoltan won't be able to dismiss the question.
So it's also for design discussions.
IDs, help. So here you see just help, but yes, IDs, show and tell. So if people have websites to present, why not? Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, like announcements, like you could say, oh, I have a new website. You don't have to create an issue for that. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So if I want to subscribe,
there is not yet anything for this specifically. So if you watch the project and you get notifications about pull requests and issues currently, then you will get notifications about discussions too. But there is no filtering. There's an upcoming feature request that will allow you to selectively watch such areas of a project. So you'll get a notification about every discussion, but you won't get a notification about every issue, for example. And that's an important thing, that there is a private project where we can give feedback to the GitHub team. There can be only a single person in there from every project, if I'm not mistaken. So, that would be me. If you have any feedback to GitHub or any bug reports, please let me know and I will relay it to them.
Cool. Till to the island. I should use that too. Every time I remember about something in Orchard, I should write a post and say, oh, remember that. Okay. Looks good. So we need to update the website to point. Well, do we need to update the websites to point to discussions because we have a Gitter link? I mean, we have a GitHub link. We have a Gitter link. Not sure we'd want.
I think eventually, yes. I've opened an issue as well. Yeah, exactly that. Where I've added some tasks that would need to be done after we decide to keep discussions.
Change the forum link on the website.
Well, Gitter is definitely not a forum, so.
Okay.
So I would change.
it's hard to say discussions. Should we? That might make sense, but at the same time, like, aren't we polluting? Should it be like case by case to see does it deserve a discussion, or is it just like sometimes people ask a random question and there is no real answer, and I mark them as backlog, meaning, well, I won't close your discussion, but I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, it's probably a bar convert is too heavy-handed indeed. And there are also issues which are legitimately about tasks, but they have a lot of labels, including discussion, so they shouldn't be converted either. Yeah, probably that's not necessary because those issues already exist. Nobody really cares, and because we can keep discussions just for new topics.
But issue templates that direct people to discussions for things that are not bug reports or feature requests. How does it work? So issue template. So when we create a new issue here,
so GitHub issue template.
So we would have templates here because we have no template.
No, you create a issue_template file at the root of your repository, and it will use it for each new issue.
Okay, add issue templates that direct people, but direct people to discussions. In the template, it will say, oh, if you have a question, use discussions and don't create an issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time I create an issue, I will have to delete this text and type my.
Yes, most of the time the text is please add repro steps, please.
As a contributor to many other projects, it always bothers me that they provide a template. I'm like, even when I provide it, they don't. I mean, yes, I will provide repro steps and I will provide what I have, and I don't know. I hate that.
Well, then we cannot do that just for Sebastian. But
yeah, and when we do triage and we are missing repro steps, I'm like, no repro steps, close it. When you have repro steps, share it. That's what I do. I'm okay. Well,
so you are doing the pedagogic approach.
I think it's up to the guys who do the triage to decide that. So I have more points than you on that to make that decision, because after all, we triage the thing. So if we are fine just telling people, please add repro steps because you forgot them, or we can't do anything. And it's very rare, like 1 out of 50 missing repro steps. And most of the time, these ones, okay, let's close it because we can't do any action. And even if we ask, they don't add them most of the time. So even if it was asked in the first place, we will not get that. So that's why I'm saying, when I see some templates like go on ImageShop, I know this one. So if I create an issue, first there are many templates. Okay, OSS bug report. Okay, bug report. Look at that. I'm like, I don't even want to open the question, the issue now. I'm like, well, go away. See what I mean? I mean,
don't get upset.
It doesn't have to be this way. I mean, I hate that kind of template with checkboxes and stuff. I think this is way too verbose and discouraging. But you can have a very simple template that says, okay, what's happening, steps to repro, and expected behavior.
Your sound, Bertrand, is very, 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 very bad. We almost could not hear you.
Okay, I shut up then. Okay, is that better?
Much better.
Yeah, I had my headset turned the wrong way. Yeah, I was saying this is clearly discouraging, and I also have the same aversion to that type of template. But you can have a very simple template that says, what's happening, steps to repro, and expected behavior, and that's it. It's just to help. Okay, this is how you found a good bug. But it doesn't. It clearly shouldn't be that verbose. That is awful.
And when I see that, either I close or I do that and I do blah blah blah. I don't care.
Yeah, but it's just it's a turn off, clearly. But there is a middle point that is
the good
properly guiding. I just set coincidentally I just set mine up on LunarCore, and that's exactly what I did. I took their template and I removed almost everything except for steps to repro and expected behavior.
By the way, I didn't suggest a template like that. You can also think about an issue template as recommendations or comments for whoever is opening an issue. So a template doesn't actually need to be something that will be then part of the content of the issue. You can just include comments and nothing else. There can be a single comment. Thank you for contributing an issue. Is this a bug report? Is this a feature request? If not, if it's a question, please open a discussion or something like that. So it doesn't even need to be a structure or anything else, but just a comment. Yeah, this is actually a structure, but the ImageSharp issue template that you have shown, it actually included comments as well. The HTML comments, I mean.
Yeah, but I still need to read them. That's my concern. As the one who will create the issue, I have to read these comments to see what they want me to do. And I'm not even sure they will actually use it. Like issue title. Well, there's a title here. What do you think I did here? Put my name? I put a title here. Why would I put a title here again? Should I copy paste it? What's the point? Should I put it there like title, or should I say like title here? I'm like, it takes me so much CPU cycle for my brain. I don't want to. I'm out of power after that. Like I don't want to really. That's my issue, but that's personal. I don't know. And as the owner of the repo who triages, I can read the title here and I can read your text. And if you provide me the repro steps, it's better. And if I need them, I will ask you, can you add the repro steps? Because yeah.
So I don't think anybody is arguing for such kind of a template.
I like to argue. I like to argue. That's good. Even if I have no reason to, I like to. That's the way I am. I will always find some reasons to argue. Even if everyone agrees with me, I will disagree, just to let you argue. Point. What point? What is that? Discussions. What? Does anyone read this document? Well, someone wrote it. Contributing. Okay, yeah, we need to add discussions here. What do we have in the code of conduct? Good job. Is it recent? Yeah, it's recent. Okay. Who is Ilya Grigoric? Don't push your pull request. What is that? I need to read that. Antoine, did you take that from the Net Foundation also?
Yes, now you adapted it, but yes.
Don't push your pull request. I don't even know what you mean. I will need to read. Okay. Good. So we have detailed discussions, finally. Good job. So we don't need to set up a discuss forum anymore, right?
Yeah, this is a bit easier.
Cool. Okay, good. Zoltan, the demo was about mini shape tracer. Discussions, any other topics, questions, comments? Demos for next week. be ready. Oh, yes, well, demo for next week. I don't think I'll be there next week, so I'm not sure there will be a meeting, but I don't want to prevent anyone from doing a meeting. So I don't know, what do you want me to say there is no meeting next week? Or do you want me to say there will be someone to open the room and people will be able to do the meeting? And someone has to say something, and if possible, 2 people. So we have a weighted opinion.
Even if I wanted, I don't think I can open the room.
Open the room. But it's weird because the meeting starts Thursday.
Since we change with the new link, I cannot open it. I need to wait to be admitted, for example, and I cannot open the room anymore.
So no meeting next week. You can meet on Gitter. You can meet on Gitter while we still have a Gitter. Yes, Zoltan, that will be a reason for you to meet on Gitter or create an ad hoc Teams meeting somewhere, but yeah, I don't think it will be worth it.
Yeah, let's keep it this time.
Okay, good, thank you. So no meeting next week, and I should not triage either. So Thursday will be fine, but there won't be any triage on the Thursday after, or I will send an email to the people who come to triage if I still do that. And so see you in 2 weeks. Thanks, everyone. Have a good break, Orchard meeting break. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.